Hello, I'm Lenda Murray, along with my co-host, Whitney Jones. And today, we have, of course, another amazing topic, competitors' health. And there's no one better to discuss this topic but a professional. And so today, we have Duke Rottweiler.
That's me.
And he is a firefighter, paramedic, and not only that, a IFBB and NPC judge for over 15 years, and so he knows the business. Welcome, Duke.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So let's just get started. Give us some insight as far as, let's first talk about you as a firefighter, paramedic.
I'm a firefighter, paramedic here in the Valley. 23 years, paramedic for 21 years. It's been very exciting and good career. And also doing that with the MPC and IFBB judging and stuff like that too. So
Duke, what got you into this industry?
To the
industry of bodybuilding.
Bodybuilding?
Yes.
I've always liked bodybuilding. I grew up with seeing Lenda in the magazines. Young kid, and that's all we had was magazines and muscle and fitness. That was the biggest thing. And you open them up and see all the big bodybuilders, and you just like, I want to be like him, and you just try to do that. You read all the articles, recipes, you rip them out of the book, and you say, hey, Mom, can you make me this one, and all we had was Joe Weider protein back in the day. Now there's 50, 100 proteins and energy drinks, and you just eating raw eggs, eat Rocky, that's what you want to do, that's what I got to do. Living the life.
Now, do you have some of those magazines? Because we could probably convince her to sign them for you.
I will find some.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah, only if you sign the calendar that you're probably in, right?
Are you part of a firefighter calendar, please?
No, I am not on the calendar.
Yet.
Okay,
All right, well,
Give me a year, I'll try to be on the calendar.
Yeah. Well, you come from a background of being a competitor. You competed in powerlifting.
Back in the day.
Yeah. So then you understand muscle and you understand our business.
Yes. I sure do. It's tough. And I like eating, and that's why I went to powerlifting. And then diets, and didn't have macros back in the day. It's changed dramatically. If you want to lose weight, you just cut carbs and just do protein. But now it's totally different and more scientific.
Yeah. So how's the sport, I would say, because you started competing, and but as far as like being a judge and looking at the competitors, I mean, you started when it was just bodybuilding, men and women.
Yep, that was.
And now
all
it's
there was.
a different day.
Now you have wellness bikini. I judged the first NPC show in Arizona with bikini. There was only 12 girls that came out.
Oh, wow, 12.
12, and I was like, okay. And then the next show was 30, 40. Now there's hundreds of shows. So it's just, and now you have wellness. So you take bikini, the bigger girl in bikini can't fit. Now it's wellness, and wellness is blowing up.
Yeah. So what do you look for in, what are the judges like looking for? Just like brief description as far as like, I would say conditioning, because this conversation is about the competitor's health. And is there difference between women and men, or?
There is a difference between men and women. You got to have a health. We're all doing this to be healthy. And if you're not healthy, why are we doing this? You can't get on stage without knowing what your body's doing. If you look at the pro ranks, if you Sydney and the girls and the guys that are wellness and physique, those are the standards right now that we judge. If there's any if you have a round peg and you have a square, does it fit? Yes and no, but those are the standards that we're looking for, the best we can.
Now, one question too is, I think, as you mentioned, obviously the focus is on health, because we've seen some very unfortunate things in the past couple years with athletes taking things to an extreme. Now you've judged amateur, national level, like regional shows, national shows, pro shows, you've seen it all. What advice do you have for amateurs? Because if they see what's being displayed on the pro level, how do you, because I know you talk to many athletes who are interested in the sport, what kind of advice do you give amateurs who are trying to strive to look like a pro from day one?
As an amateur, you can't just jump on stage and I'm going to be like them. So what do you first, in my opinion, you need to take some blood work. If you want to lose weight, gain weight, and you have 30, 40 different tests you can run for blood. If you have too much estrogen, not enough estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, insulin levels. If your insulins are too high, you're not going to lose weight. So how do you? So you're on a treadmill for 2 hours, and you're not losing weight. There's your body. You're fighting your body. Do you know what your average is, or what's baseline for you?
Yeah.
You got to get a baseline. You take your car in. There's a new car. You say something's wrong with my car. You take a mechanic. Well, this is wrong. You got to get a baseline. You should. In fact, when you're 18, 19 years old, that's where you should take your blood, and then when you're 50 years old, compare it to your 18-year-old self. Now when you're 50 years old, what's your baseline? My mom went into a doctor, oh, you're normal for your age. Well, I don't want to be 50, I want to be 18.
Yeah.
That's right, I want to lose weight, I want to gain weight, I want to be healthy. That's what you need to get done.
Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, you suggest that competitors, before in planning the season, to have blood work done
Yes.
prior to,
Yes.
and is there a point where maybe they should do it again, like
You could do
during
it.
the process
You can
or
do it.
after?
Do it before you start, and then try to change. And if it's dramatically a lot of change you got to make with medications or whatever, maybe 6 months. It depends on a doctor. If you go to doctors can get you normal or somewhat normal, but it's not going to be overnight. It's going to take you time to make those changes and be healthy. Maybe it could be 6 months, could be a year. It could be you go in, you're like, wow, your levels are so off. But don't stress. It's a process. Enjoy the journey. Because if you sit there, I want to do it today, you're going to fail.
Well, and as you said, it's a process. Being patient is number one. It's being patient with your own health. It's being patient as an athlete. When you start as an amateur and you're trying to kind of build up and get to that pro level, which is what everyone is usually striving for, it takes time. And I think you probably see it more often than not. People get impatient. They don't understand why they're not turning pro after the second year of being in, the sport. And it takes time, but you've got to do it in a healthy way without going to the extremes.
If you just throw drugs at it, you're not going to have. You're going to be here for maybe a year, and then all of a sudden you're gone.
No longevity.
Because there's no longevity. You've been here. You've been on the scene for a long time. You're still here, looking great because you've taken the time. You're making the process. So you're not having throw it at in a year's time, and then you get off and you just look like you're not even worked out. And that's not what we're here for. We're here for health. And that's just, a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah. No, it is really a complicated, complex subject. And usually competitors want like a simple answer, or people on the outside, they want to immediately point the finger to some type of supplement or something that the competitor was doing wrong. But I mean, when you really think about it, it's like what you said, you have to look at the whole. And it's not just about, if you really know your body, like I know my body. And I can say that there were a couple of times during when I competed where I felt like I didn't feel good. And I recognized that. Because I was in tune with my body, and it was a process, and it wasn't like I was trying to like fix something that's broken. And I think that you have to look at the big picture, that whole year, is what you're doing in the off season, Were you ready?
Yeah.
Were you really prepared? And why all of a sudden do you feel like you need some type of magic pill?
I've been on some calls where 19-year-old kid sees this magazine, magic pill, get big, testosterone builder, takes it. He's calling us at 1 a.m. and he's got help. His heart's beating really fast. He's stressing out, but you talk to him, well, I want to be like this guy, this guy, this guy. And there's no fast way to gain 100 pounds. You can't, it takes time, lots of food, and make sure your body's in shape. And you can't force it because it's not healthy.
Okay. Yes. Well, we will take a brief break, and come back and talk to Duke about how the judges score athletes that don't look healthy.
Yeah.
People always ask how I got here. I was willing to work just a little harder than everyone else. Every damn day. If I can have hundreds of hours back, you know I'm gonna grab them. Spending hours prepping chicken, rice, and vegetables, F that. I rely on perfect nutrition. I rely on trifecta.
And we're back with Duke Rottweiler. And question, with the judging, how do the judges judge competitors that they are at the extreme ripped? How do you
Lean,
judge that?
Grainy,
yes.
Well, for the females, for the female athlete, we are not looking for the grain, a healthy look. And when a lot of girls, well, you picked that last time, or the guys, you're looking for the grained, hard look. It's who shows up on stage. And if for me as a head judge, and I do not give you kudos to being ripped. A healthy look, I'll give someone that's a little bit, not say out of shape, but a lot better looking than someone that's totally ripped and not healthy looking.
Just like more of a softer. There's just
softer look.
There's that fine line of being too much.
Too much, yes, exactly. You gotta be healthy. We're all in this. The NPC and IFBB are sitting. They're so much about health and so about being longevity in this business, and it's what it is, a business.
Yeah.
You can't just throw drugs at it and say I'm going to win. You're missing the big picture.
So do you find that some people, as you work out at gyms around the valley, and I know people talk to you, ask for advice, do you find that some people come up to you and you can tell they're not ready for the show that's maybe 3-4 weeks out, and they're now going, I'm going to do the show, I got to push to this extreme, and they go in and either they're too lean or they've just depleted too much, they've lost some muscle, when in reality, there's always another show. There's so many shows that people can do. How do you advise them when you can see kind of what's going to take place in the next couple weeks?
I tell them, they do a show, and my trainer wants me to do another show in 3 weeks or 4 weeks. I tell them, why? What is your end game? Are you trying to do a national show? And the athlete's like, well, my coach wants me to do this. Well, you own your own body.
Yeah.
You can sit there and go, no. Because you all know dieting for a show, it takes a lot. And you're gonna do another show in 3 weeks, another show in 3 weeks. It doesn't give your body any time to grow, make the improvements. I've told an athlete, take a year off. Enjoy the journey. Here comes the trainer. I told you that you don't give, and I'm like, your athlete should grow, enjoy the journey, because you're gonna burn them out. The body, you're gonna have problems down the road. But an athlete can say no.
Right.
And that's a lot of athletes, they listen to the trainer, I gotta do this, this, and this. Well, just relax. Make the improvements on your glutes. Make improvements on your shoulders.
Yeah.
We're not in any hurry. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We have to, as athletes, we have to take accountability for it, because ultimately we are the ones stepping on stage. And you're right. I think there's far too often we see people doing what they're told versus what they truly want. And as you said, we as athletes, we know when something's not right, or we know when something feels off.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you felt those situations, what did you do? Did you try to push through? Did you put on the brakes? Did you try to troubleshoot what was going on and making you feel worse?
Yeah, I think in the beginning, as a newbie, and I think that's also one of the issues that we're dealing with, as a newbie, and for me, it wasn't about what I was doing to manipulate anything toward the end. It was that as far as the diet, I was in ketosis. Like I'd gone so long without carbs and just really low carbs, and I had no energy. I was brain dead, and that was my first time really actually taking my diet to that place. And so I didn't know and didn't recognize that mentally I wasn't firing on all cylinders. And I do feel that that's also another issue for us to address, is because when we get in that zone, and like you were saying with competitors, and they're going from one show to the next show to the next show, they don't realize that mentally, like, they're not all there. And so sometimes they can't make that decision, to say no to their coach. So I think that's something we have to discuss.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with you. Because we're here for longevity. We spend hours in the gym and eating right so we can prolong our lives when we're 60, 70 years old. Not when we're like, okay, I can't lift because my shoulders are jacked up. I did that single, double rep, triple rep back when I was in high school. We had no idea what research and development with reps and gains and food. Now it's totally different. Macros are coming in, all this other stuff. It's a different world.
Yeah, it really is. So do you have any suggestions or what competitors should have with them or carry with them? I know when I think back to like competition, I remember I always had like banana, I had lots of water, potassium, just some of the, like a basic like kit, because I think almost we need it all year long, but when you're backstage, any suggestions?
At NPC level shows, IFBB level shows, they always have an EMT or paramedic backstage. When I'm judging, someone's cramping up, that's a red flag of something that they're doing with the potassium levels that are they're taking too far. I've ran in the back and say, if I see you again, you need to go get some water, you need to do something, because if you're cramping now on prejudging, night show, you're gonna be worse off.
Okay.
So careful. I don't want to put an IV in someone's arm, give them 1,000 liters of saline, and get them back to hydration. That's because I'm a competitor, and I know that they spent a lot of time getting on stage. But I'm going to manage that. If I see you walking around, not going back to your hotel room, we're going to have a problem. A female's passing out before check-ins. Why are you passing out? Check, blood pressure, sugar. Could you be pregnant? I don't know. Well, that's an issue. If you're a female athlete, make sure you got everything covered. If you're trying to go on stage, maybe you're not supposed to be on stage.
Yeah.
Talk to the promoter. They'll give you credit for your money. That's not an issue.
Yeah.
That is not an issue. Maybe go do your thing and then come back next year. Better, healthy.
Yeah, so you have those conversations with
I've had
the
conversations and I said, listen, this is not worth a trophy. It's not worth a medal, because I don't want to sit there and call 911 and start putting pads on you and IVs, and you're going to spend 12 hours in an ER just because of something preventable. All this stuff is preventable. If you want to lose weight, get back. If you're just an amateur, get your blood work done. Make sure if you feel like crap, make sure, why are you going out at night and not getting enough sleep? Are you taking energy drinks? Energy drinks, if you look at the can, it says serving of 2.
Yes.
And I'm drinking all of it.
And you're drinking all of it.
And has anyone looked the back and what the ingredients are? Yeah, I can't spell it, but you have a phone. Do that right now. Put the ingredients in the phone, and they'll like, I'm not gonna. I was at a grocery store. A lady had 50 or 60 energy drinks going. She buying them. I'm like, ma'am, what is that for you? Oh no, my kids love this. And I'm like, I just want to let you know, 2 weeks ago, we went on a 14-year-old kid that was drinking energy drinks. SVT, the whole 9 yards. I just want to let you know. She took all the drinks, put them back in the cart, left. Know what you're going to give your kids and yourself. If you're tired, why are you tired? Don't open the can of crack and drink it. But if you're tired to go work out, I've been to the gym, went inside tired, to find a nice little corner, fell asleep, took a nap in the gym. So I know if I went home, I would never make it to the gym. There's but why am I tired? I got to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning, got up at 5. Your body's screaming that I need rest. Just small things in life will make it. Pay attention to your body. What can I change to make it better?
So, and to kind of lead off of that too, because yes, you've seen so much backstage, and this would be a great opportunity, maybe top 5 things that every athlete should have backstage in case they start not feeling well. What are the top 5 things that somebody could take to help them feel better pretty quickly?
Pedialyte. It's something for electrolytes, because that's you're dehydrated. Make sure you have maybe some vitamins or some just a little candy bar for sugar, because your sugar gets depleted. We check your sugar when you feel dizzy. We'll check that and blood pressure. Usually it's when you're depleted with volume. It's water. So that's when you stand up real quick and you're like, whoa, you're probably dehydrated. That's probably 90% of it is dehydration. And Pedialyte, it's good for kids, it's good for grown-ups too. Gatorade, too much sugar, it'll spill you over. So little sips of Pedialyte, you'll be fine.
I see. So not the Gatorade, like what we would automatically.
The Gatorade, it's good for playing football, soccer. But when you're doing, you just kind of, you got to know what you're doing. So Pedialyte, little sips of Pedialyte throughout the day, or when you're feeling cramping, that's just your body's telling you, I need nutrients and some minerals.
Any food recommendations you would suggest for quick relief if someone's not feeling well?
Just anything if you want. If it's something that you can throw in a bag, candy bars, those peak your sugar, but you need to go out and get food, real food. And also be careful when you get done off stage, you go home and I'm gonna get a big cheeseburger and a glass of Coke out of this, I haven't had it. You drink it, and then within 2-3 hours, your ankles are the size of elephants, and your fingers, and you can't take your rings off your fingers because you'll never get them off. And then I got to cut them off, and that's not good. So when you get off stage, take everything off, because that's when you get that way, your heart is not getting rid of the fluid. So that's another, so when you get off stage, don't eat a lot of food. Slowly ramp up to where you are.
And maybe the best thing would be to just kind of bring an extra meal that you've been eating that's a healthier option. If you're not feeling great, you have that. I mean, we do hear a lot of athletes who just go crazy post-show. And eat, drink, whatever, and they feel awful. Some have health issues as a result. We have to remember that we got to this place by kind of slowly easing into it. And it's the whole philosophy of reverse dieting. You've got to slowly pull out of it and have some treats, but within moderation, it sounds like is the best approach.
You look great on stage, but you're not healthy on stage. Because your body's just, it does not like to be 10% body fat or 5% body fat. Does not like it. And then you look great, but you can't maintain it.
Say that again to them. Really, repeat that, because you're right. I mean,
everyone wants to stage lean year round.
Oh, you cannot stay lean. One show, and 3 weeks later, you do another show, your body is now sitting there going, I'm not going to like it. Some guys do show after show, do 10 shows, 12 shows a year. How come I'm always placed in last place? Well, you're not making any gains. Your body is taking the muscle that you built so hard for energy, because you got no fat and you're not feeding it.
We've got lots more questions for you, but we're going to take a quick break. So give us a second. We'll be back right now with Duke and drilling in with a lot of hard-hitting questions. Better be ready.
Okay.
We are back with Duke Rottweiler, who is an EMT and a judge in our sport. So we're firing away all these questions at him. Now, we were just talking about how you can be healthy in this sport, and there is a lot of this misconception. Now, you can't stay stage lean year round. That's impossible, even though it's something we all want.
Yeah.
But there's an approach that needs to be done in our industry to keep it healthy. We've seen far too many people pass away and lose their lives from extreme. So we're trying to eliminate all of that. One question though too, is we've kind of talked about nutrition, we've talked about hydration. What about pain? Because you see a lot of injuries in the sport, you see injuries happen on stage. You also see a lot of people, how they're managing pain throughout the process. Give us some insight into what you see and some of the things that we need to avoid and change in our industry.
If you have aches and pains and strains, that's part of growing and part of working out. Everyone's going to get it. Just don't go through the pain. Try to get a doctor's help, get MRIs for elbows, pecs, and stuff like that. But I see a lot of people that go, I'm in pain, here, take this pill. You don't know what that pill is. In my other job, full-time firefighter, we've had a rash of overdoses, and we've had probably 20, 25 just in our area a week, and probably half of them don't make it. And it's on Xanax. Xanax with the fentanyl. Fentanyl will kill you dead or dead. Usually 20 years ago, it was 2 milligrams of Narcan, and now we're up to 8 to 10 milligrams of Narcan just to get your breathing. It's legit bad stuff. If you don't know what the pain meds are, don't know where you got it from, don't take it, because you have no idea what it is. You take it, you'll be feeling good, driving home, and you're not gonna wake up. If you're in that much pain, find out why you're in that much pain. If you want to get pain meds, go to a doctor, get prescriptions, not from a guy from the street corner or a gym buddy or a trainer. It's not worth your life. It really isn't. Some states have THC that's another opportunity too. But if you don't go through a pain management doctor, you don't know how to manage your pain. Your trainer, your gym buddy is not a doctor, and you'll get hooked. I've seen guys that have a bad back, a year or 2 years later, they're not in the gym, and they're just like, wow, what happened? That stuff is bad news.
Yeah. So this is real clear that when we're in the gym and we're training for these competitions and we feel like Supergirl and Superman, like, you really do have to be responsible. And if you have an injury, you can't just like take anything and everything. And sometimes that's the time to say, okay, I need to take a break. No competition for me this year, and slow down. So
check the ego at the door. You don't have to deadlift, bench press. Who cares on how much you bench press? It doesn't matter. You on stage, we don't ask competitor number 37 how much you squat. They don't. You can do light weights. We don't care. It's not a powerlifting meet. It's bodybuilding, and it's how you look. Sometimes you can make better gains with lighter weight and change it up.
Yeah. So let's talk about what can the governing bodies do to probably, we're not trying to make a mandate that competitors do a physical once a year, but I remember having to take a physical to participate in extracurricular like track and field in high school, so any suggestions or ideas or thoughts on what we can do to, as promoters, as the officials of the NPC and the IFBB, to say, okay, we're going to take some responsibility in making you responsible. When you sign up for a competition, just answer this. Have you taken a physical, your blood work? Any suggestions?
I think you can mandate a lot of stuff, but you can go in there, I took a physical, but ultimately it's on you. And you got to figure out, why are you competing? Is it for just a bucket list, or do you want to go further in life? Or you're not gonna get rich competing in Ivy League. Some, very few do. And you can sit there, how many people are making $1 million as an athlete?
Right.
Just that 1%. So you have to figure out, don't quit your day job, try to go get your career, and go on stage is just a small thing that you can do to be healthy. But don't cut corners, don't do stuff and, oh, if I take this magic pill, I'm gonna be this and this and this. It's not going to work.
Now, could you briefly kind of just describe too, because I don't think a lot of people, especially new in our sport, realize some of these common things that can happen if they're not paying attention. For example, you know, I've seen backstage so many girls, their trainer comes up and it's like, oh, take this pill, you gotta get tighter, you've gotta do this, and it's like, okay. And then I'm like, they don't even know what they took. And then a lot of the clients that I work with too, you know, and talking about past preps or, you know, why even girls got out of the industry. A lot of it has to do with, you know, certain pills they've been given or pulling water, but so many don't understand what happens to the body. So can you give from the medical side, explain some of the things that can happen when you go to extreme of trying to cut or pull water? A lot of it I know has to do with heart, but most of the people out there, they don't know. So give us some tips of what can happen.
If you're going on an NPC local level show, and the trainer comes up, you gotta look better for the night show. Take this pill. You're not prejudging. You gotta take it right now, or 2 or 3 hours before. Why? Because nothing. You've done all of the. You've done everything up to that point. Take this magic pill, and that's gonna get you what, 1 placing, 2 placings better. And it's not just that. It's probably posing that you have to work on. Maybe you have to work on. Bring your shoulders down. Maybe you have to build them up, and you're not going to do that in 2 hours.
Yes.
Right.
And so you take Lasix. You got to get harder, drier. So what does that do? It pulls water, minerals, and potassium out of your system. And what does potassium do? Works your heart. So now you're going to have heart palpitations, which is really not good. And now, how many times are you going to do that over 5-10 years? Your heart's a muscle, and it's not going to last show after show after show. And then at 40 years old, you get a pacemaker. Right? So it's not just like that magic pill to get a first, second placings.
I love the way you put that. So that's a no. Between prejudging and when
a couple hours or something.
Couple hours.
It's a no.
Check-ins are on Friday and your show's Saturday.
In 2 hours.
Nothing's going to change. If you have to take that drastic change for a local show, you don't have to.
And does that, when it's taken to an extreme, is it a heart attack that the heart palpitations, heart attack, it can basically make your heart stop?
Oh yeah. So,
and the reason I ask is because I don't think people realize the extreme. They think, oh, what's the worst that can happen? I might faint. No, it's long-term damage. It can drastically affect your organs, and the heart is a pretty big deal. So fainting for some may not be a big deal. It should be, but I don't think people realize the extremes of what can happen, that it literally, you see people in sports who die, like in the middle of an event, and it's like, oh gosh, how did that happen? Well, a lot of times it seems like it's the heart, and I mean, again, I could be wrong, I don't have a medical background, but that's what it seems to be in our sport.
Well, you got the heart, right? But if you faint and you don't catch yourself, you take a header into a wall. Now you broke your nose, broke your teeth, and now you're not going to do a show anyways. And we see a lot of that. What they want to lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks because I got a wedding to go to. That is, you're going to bounce back, and your body is just going just bad.
Yeah, so much stress.
And it's not what you're on stress anyways, getting on stage. Now you can put more stress and more stress and more stress. Now you want to do another show 3 weeks after that, another 3. You can always say no. We're all, and we have our cell phones, right? What is that pill? I can put the pill in.
Right, yeah.
I can sit there and go, oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone's a doctor, right by your information. Your cell phone's right here. You go to a doctor. I'm going to put you on that medication. What is it? Why do I don't have that? Why do you have that on? Why is the doctor giving me this stuff? You can always question stuff. If you don't like the doctor, you can always change a doctor.
Yeah, get a new
If you don't like the trainer, I had an athlete call me, my trainer wants me to do this, 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 and this. I go, so did you get a new one? And there was like dead silence. You can always leave.
Yeah.
You can always say no and go to another trainer or another doctor. We're no one's holding the gun to your head. And just remember what we're here for. Just healthy lifestyles.
Now, again, in regards to health with the rebounds, because we see that where people just kind of gorge post-show, what effect to their health is the biggest factor? Is it heart again, because they're taking in so much and their body's swelling? It's the heart that's primarily affected?
When you go see your grandma and your grandma's walking all day and all of a sudden, oh, I gotta lift my legs up, my ankles are all swollen. Why are they swollen? It's their heart's not pumping all the fluid out of the lower legs. So when you do a show, you eat, and all of a sudden it's just all this food and nutrients come to your body's in shock, and why is your fingers getting swollen and your ankles are swollen? Because your heart is overworked, and that's not healthy. So small increments, so your heart's not overdoing it. That's healthy. If you do show after show, your heart is not going to like it. It's wearing it down. You're 40 years old, but you have an 80-year-old heart.
Yeah. Well, we want to really thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And to the amateurs out there, listen, take it from the pros, okay? You have to have balance. And you are in control and you are responsible for you. You are responsible. Thank you again, Duke.
Thank you.
And to you guys out there, we will see you on our next episode of FemFlex Friday.